Hey everyone, I just got back from meeting with all the faculty of all the different schools I'm going to be teaching in. So yeah, basically I'm going to be teaching in six schools total, five elementary and one junior high school. And the reason why I'm teaching at so many elementary schools is because in Japan, elementary schools only have English about once a week, once every 2 weeks because it's not really part of the graded curriculum. It's more of just like an extra thing that they do. And so because of that, you can have one ALT go to a lot of different elementary schools because, you know, you only see them like once every 2 weeks, basically. So that being said, my main school is going to be the junior high school because in junior high, that's when the grading curriculum starts. And so they have English like almost every day. That being said, in elementary school, they don't have to get things right at all. Basically, like the whole purpose of having English class for those kids is to get them familiar and exposed just to hearing and speaking English, even if what they're saying makes no sense whatsoever. I could hold a picture of like a dog, and if they say bird or fish, it doesn't matter. As long as they're speaking, they're doing a good job, basically. So my job is a bit easier in elementary, because it's elementary is sort of about having fun. And in junior high school, I have to make it fun because now that it's being graded, it's a graded serious subject. I have to keep the kids' attention and keep them from flunking out because that's when students begin to hit the wall and be like, "Oh, screw English, this is not for me." And that's when my job gets a bit more serious. But luckily, in the junior high school, there's a woman, the English teacher I'm going to be working with, the Japanese English teacher. She is almost fluent in English, which is rare. It's amazing, really, to find a Japanese English teacher who can actually speak English. That's very rare. In every other school I went to, well, granted they were elementary schools, but still, almost no one spoke English. And which is why, even though, according to the company, I'm not supposed to be speaking English to the, oh, I'm not supposed to be speaking Japanese to the kids, uh, they are happy that I can speak Japanese because almost no one in these elementary schools speak English at all. So the fact that at least in my junior high school, the place I'm going to be teaching most often, there's someone who can actually speak English and speak it well is amazing. And Japanese schools um, are pretty cold. Because for the exception of one school I was in, um, Japanese schools just made of straight concrete with no central air conditioning or heating. So what that means is if it's cold outside, it's going to be cold inside. If it's hot outside, I imagine it's going to be very hot inside. Right now it's still early spring, so the hallways, the classrooms, they are freezing. There are wall units in most classrooms though, so that after you walk in, you turn it on and then there's heat. But in the hallways and when you first walk into those classrooms, it's pretty cold. It's pretty uncomfortably cold. I can only imagine it's going to be the same once it gets hot. It's not going to be nice. That's how Japan is. They don't do the central air conditioning for some reason. There was one school. It didn't have central air, but it was a pretty cool school in the sense that it wasn't made from concrete, at least mostly. It was like a very modern, eco-friendly type of school where like the walls were made from recycled wood chips and stuff like that. It was really neat. They had like solar panels and it was all very cool and new, and I'm looking forward to teaching there. However, just like in America, not all schools are made equal. Um, there's one school I'm going to which is pretty much the opposite of the cool, new, sparkly eco-friendly school. It's very, you can say ghetto, I guess. You could call it ghetto. At least for Japanese standards. Like the the metal was rusty, like everything was rusty. Wherever rust could be found, it was found. Um, there were just water stains all over the walls. Um, shit, the place was dim. Just looked like it was falling apart, which was ironic because according to my coworkers, they're like, "Oh, that's one of the better schools. That's one of like the happier schools." And well, school hasn't actually started yet, so maybe the students there are really cool because I haven't seen any kids yet. Schools officially start next week. Um, but yeah, I haven't seen any kids yet, so I maybe it isn't a really cool place to teach, but it looks absolutely dreadful. Just saying. And it's cold, which doesn't make things any better. A lot of schools, based on my first impression here, are cold, dark, and just made of concrete. Yeah. But yeah, but that being said though, I'm still looking forward to teaching. I'm still like excited. Hopefully the kids will be cool. The staff already seem pretty cool. I mean, some staff members were definitely more interested in me than others. Um, some were asking me questions directly, some barely even talked to me. One question that came up a lot though was if I could eat school lunches because it's a big thing for the teachers to eat school lunches with the kids and everything. And so they kept asking me like, is there anything you can't eat? And having discovered that I'm slightly lactose intolerant, and in Japan they drink usually whole milk, especially in schools, because they want to, make sure the kids get all the nutrients and calcium and stuff. I had to explain to them that I can't have milk. If you want me to keep teaching throughout the entire day, you shouldn't give me milk. They were kind of surprised when I said that. They're like, "Oh, really? You can't drink milk? Huh? That's so strange. Oh, you silly foreigner, you can't drink milk." Well, they weren't mean like that, but I guess there's not a lot of lactose intolerant people in Japan. But yeah, so far so good. Nothing too bad has happened. I'm gonna go practice driving now because all my schools I have to drive to get to. The area I'm living in is very, very suburban. In fact, it's almost American how suburban this is. I was not expecting it at all. But I will be driving. I have to practice driving because driving on the left side of the road is not as easy as you may think, especially since all of the gear shift and sticks and buttons are all oriented towards your left hand now, not the right hand, which I'm not left-handed, so it makes things that much weirder. But yeah, hopefully things will be good. Things will go well. And until then, I will see you later because I don't think I have anything else to really talk about right now.